All right, let's talk design. Ready to unlock your inner designer?
Oh, I love it. Everyone's a designer.
Well, we're going to try. Today we're, doing a deep dive into the world of design.
Okay.
And don't worry, you don't need, a beret and paint-splattered overalls to follow along.
No, not at all.
You sent in a summary of the Non-Designer's Design Book
Right.
by Robin Williams.
Yes.
So we're going to extract, all the juiciest bits of design wisdom from it. Think of this as a crash course in making everything you create, like resumes, presentations, even that flyer for your dog walking business,
Yeah.
look instantly more professional.
And the great thing is that these design principles aren't just for graphic designers, right?
Mm.
Like you can use them to arrange furniture in your living room.
Wait, seriously?
Oh.
So that awkward, empty corner in my living room could be solved with, design?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm hooked.
Okay, great.
Tell me more about these secret design formulas.
So Robin Williams breaks it down into 4 foundational pillars:
Okay.
proximity, alignment, repetition, and contrast. Think of them as magic spells for visual harmony.
Ooh, magic spells for visual harmony.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right, let's unpack this, starting with proximity.
Okay, sounds good. Proximity is all about putting related elements close together. It's like a family reunion for information, right?
Okay.
Remember that website where you were talking about the other day where you couldn't find the darn contact button?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a classic case of poor proximity.
I spent 5 minutes clicking around, muttering to myself, where is it?
Exactly.
So if they'd used good proximity, the contact info would have been snuggled up close to, say, the About Us section.
Yeah, exactly. Grouping related items, it just makes it so much easier for your audience to digest information.
You're right.
It's like organizing your kitchen spices.
Okay.
The oregano is with the Italian herbs.
Mm-hmm.
The cumin is hanging out with the Mexican spices.
Yeah.
And you're not frantically searching for the cinnamon when you're trying to bake cookies. Makes so much sense. I'm already feeling more zen just thinking about my spice drawer.
I love it.
Okay, what's the next design spell we need to learn?
Alignment.
Okay.
Every item on a page should have a visual connection to something else. Nothing should feel like it's, randomly floating in space.
So, imagine those inspirational quote posters where the words are just, scattered all over the place.
Right.
That would be bad alignment.
Well, it could be, right. Unless there's, a deliberate creative reason for it.
Hmm.
But generally good alignment, it creates these invisible lines that guide the viewer's eye
Okay.
and make the information easier to process.
Got it.
Think about, that presentation you work on.
Yeah.
Aligning your text and images, it creates a sense of order and professionalism.
That report cover example in the book really brought this home for me. The one where it's just text all over the place, and then it's whoa, everything is neatly aligned, night and day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to be using alignment to up my presentation game.
I love it.
Okay, what's next? Repetition.
You got it.
All right.
Repetition is all about consistency.
Okay.
Think, consistent headings, bullet points, colors, and font styles.
Mm-hmm.
It's like creating a visual rhythm throughout your design.
Aha. So it's like the chorus of a song.
Yes.
It brings the whole piece together and makes it memorable.
Precisely. It reinforces your message and creates, a cohesive look and feel.
Okay.
Think about a well-designed website, right?
Mm-hmm.
They often repeat certain elements like a logo or a specific color palette throughout the site, and it creates that sense of familiarity
Right.
and helps users navigate the content.
Okay, I'm starting to see how repetition isn't just about being boringly predictable, but
Yeah.
it's about creating a sense of unity and brand recognition.
Yes.
I like it. All right, last but not least, we have contrast.
Contrast is your secret weapon for making things pop. It's about creating visual interest and hierarchy by making distinct differences between elements. Imagine, a newspaper with headlines the same size and font as the article text.
Right.
Snooze fest, right?
Yeah.
But contrast, a bold, large headline against smaller body text draws your eye to the most important information.
That newspaper example in the book was a real eye-opener.
Yeah.
It's like adding spice to a recipe.
Yes.
A little bit of contrast can go a long way. So to make sure I'm understanding this correctly, if I want to highlight a call to action on my website,
Right.
I could use a contrasting color for the button.
That's a great application of contrast.
Okay.
Yeah, you could also use like a larger font size
Right.
or even just a different font style
Hmm.
to make it stand out from the surrounding text. You
Okay.
know, it's all about directing the viewer's attention where you want it to go.
I'm getting that
Awesome.
these four pillars are like the foundation of a well-designed house. You need them all like working together to create something beautiful and functional. But we're not done building yet, are we?
No, we are not.
There's still the whole world of color to explore.
Yes. And that's where things get really interesting.
All right.
You ready to spin the color wheel?
Okay, color. I've like always been a little intimidated by the color wheel. It's like some secret code only artists understand,
Yeah.
but I'm ready to decode it.
Yeah, it's not as complicated as it seems, and the results are so worth it. Remember how we talked about contrast making things pop?
Mm-hmm.
The color wheel is your guide to choosing colors that either harmonize beautifully or create that exciting contrast.
Okay, so no more like randomly picking colors based on like, oh, this is pretty. I'm
Little
ready to be
changes.
strategic.
That's the spirit. So let's start with those eye-catching complementary colors. They sit opposite each other on the wheel, like red and green or blue and orange.
Okay.
You know, think about that, like iconic Christmas color combo, red and green. They're opposites, and so they create this like strong visual contrast, making each other stand out even more.
Wait, so red and green can work together? That
Yeah.
like challenges everything I thought I knew about color.
It does, doesn't it?
But you're right, like when it's done well, it's super vibrant and festive.
Exactly.
So how do we use these like complementary pairs without making people's eyes like hurt?
The key is balance.
Okay.
Use one color as the dominant shade and the other as an accent. Imagine like a website with a calming blue background
Hmm.
and pops of orange in the buttons and headlines, right? It's eye-catching but not overwhelming.
That makes so much sense. It's like a little spice, not the whole chili pepper.
Exactly.
Okay, what are some other color combos that like play well together?
Well, let's talk about triads, which are, you know, three colors that are equally spaced on the wheel.
Okay.
You mentioned the classic primary triad, red, yellow, and blue, right? That's a combo that we see everywhere, especially in designs for kids.
It's so bright and cheerful. But can we use like triads for more grown-up designs too?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The key is to just like choose a more sophisticated palette within that triad.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of bright primary colors, imagine a website with like a deep navy blue, a muted mustard yellow, and a dusty rose. It's still a triad, but with a more like refined and elegant vibe.
Ooh, I love that combination. It's still harmonious, but more complex.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we should know about, like color triads?
Well, there's also the split complementary triad,
Okay.
where you choose one color and then use the two colors on either side of its complement. This creates a more nuanced and subtle contrast. Imagine a website with like a deep teal background,
Okay.
accented with coral and golden yellow. Those are the split complements of teal.
This is making my like designer brain tingle. Okay, so we've got complementary colors, triads, split complementary triads. Are we like ready to graduate from color kindergarten now?
Almost. We can't forget about tints and shades.
Oh, right. Tints and shades.
Yes.
So adding white to create a tint, making the color lighter, and black to create a shade, making it darker.
Precisely.
Okay.
Yeah, and this lets you create variations within like a single color,
Yeah.
adding depth and dimension to your design. Think about like a website with a dark navy blue background and then lighter tints of that same blue used for, you know, buttons and headlines. It creates a sense of hierarchy and visual interest without introducing a whole new color.
It's like creating a whole color family.
Yes.
Okay, I'm feeling much more confident about my color choices now. But what about fonts?
Oh, yes, fonts.
I always struggle with picking the right ones.
Well, fonts are more than just like pretty letters, right?
Yeah.
They're the voice of your design, conveying tone and personality. And Robin Williams emphasizes that good typography is all about clarity and readability.
Okay, so no Comic Sans for my resume, huh?
Probably not the best choice, unless you're applying for a job as like a 90s nostalgia expert or something.
Right.
But seriously, though, font choice can make or break your design. You remember those business cards we were talking about?
Yeah.
Imagine if they used a like super ornate, hard-to-read font. You know, no matter how well they used proximity and alignment, the information would be lost if people couldn't decipher the words.
That's so true. It's like using a whisper voice to give a presentation.
Exactly.
No one's going to hear you. Okay, so How do we make sure our fonts are, like, speaking clearly and effectively?
Understanding font relationships is key.
Okay.
Think of it like pairing wines with food.
Right. Right.
Some combinations just sing while others clash.
Mm.
Robin Williams talks about um, three main types of font relationships: concordant, conflicting, and contrasting.
Okay, lay it on me. What makes a good font pairing?
Okay, so concordant is like wearing a perfectly matched suit.
Okay.
You use one font family throughout your design,
Mm.
creates a formal, unified look,
Yeah.
but can be a bit predictable.
So, like, using all Times New Roman for, like, a
Yep.
report? Exactly. Safe, but maybe a bit snoozeworthy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, conflicting is like wearing stripes with plaid. It just doesn't work.
Okay.
You accidentally use fonts that are like very similar but not quite the same,
Right.
creating like this jarring visual clash.
Ouch. That sounds like a design disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the good news is it's pretty easy to avoid if you pay attention to the details.
Hmm.
Now, contrasting fonts are where the magic happens.
Okay. I like where this is going.
Yeah,
So we're talking about, like, combining fonts that are clearly different but still complement each other.
exactly.
Like, say, a chunky sans serif font for headlines and a more delicate serif font for body text.
You got it. And that contrast adds visual interest and creates a clear hierarchy of information.
Okay.
And just like with color, there are like endless possibilities once you understand the basic principles.
Wow, my head is spinning with all these design secrets. We've covered the 4 foundational pillars, explored the world of color, delved into the art of font pairing. What's next on our design adventure? Are we, like, ready to take these skills out into the real world?
Absolutely. And while Robin Williams' book focuses on print design,
Hmm.
these principles are surprisingly applicable to so many areas of our lives.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I mean, think about all the ways we interact with design every day,
Hmm.
from websites and apps
Right.
to social media and even video editing.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about how we can apply these principles to the digital world. So, like, spill the digital design secrets. How can we use these principles to, like, make our online presence shine?
Okay, well, let's start with user interface design.
Mhm.
Those apps and websites we use every day.
Yeah.
Good design is like the invisible force that makes them intuitive and user-friendly.
Mhm.
Think about like an app with clear, well-organized menus, right?
Right.
Thanks to proximity. That's design in action.
Mhm. That's so true. I never thought about it that way. Like, a well-designed app is, like, a joy to use,
Right.
while, like, a poorly designed one, ugh, it can be incredibly frustrating. It's like the difference between, like, a smooth flowing highway and a traffic jam.
Exactly. And then there's social media.
Ooh, social media. Yeah,
It's a visual battlefield out there.
it really is.
If you want your content to stand out in a crowded feed, you need to like harness the power of contrast,
Hmm. So, like, using a bold color or, like, an eye-catching image to make my, like, Instagram post pop.
You got it. And don't forget about repetition.
Uh,
Using like the same fonts and colors across your different platforms
mhm.
creates a cohesive brand identity.
Okay.
It's like having a signature style.
Mm-hmm.
People start to recognize your work even before they see your name.
Ooh, that's a smart strategy. It's all about building that visual recognition.
Exactly.
Okay, so what about video editing? Is there a way to make our videos more engaging using these principles?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Think about using proximity and alignment to like create visually appealing compositions within your video frames,
Mm.
and color plays a huge role in setting the mood.
Mm.
Imagine like a travel vlog with vibrant, saturated colors.
Yeah.
Instantly makes you feel like you're on an adventure.
Yeah, this is blowing my mind. I'm starting to see design principles everywhere I look.
I know.
Like, I even caught myself rearranging the icons on my phone's home screen using proximity and alignment.
There you go.
I'm like, wait, I can do this.
Yeah, you got it. That's the beauty of it.
Mm.
Once you start paying attention, you realize that, good design is all around us,
Mm.
shaping our experiences in subtle but powerful ways.
Okay, so what's the biggest takeaway for our listeners today? What's the one thing they should, like, remember from this this deep dive into the world of design?
The key takeaway is anyone can be a designer.
Mm.
You don't need a fancy degree or expensive software.
Mm.
Just by, understanding these basic principles, you can start creating things that are more effective, more engaging, and more impactful.
I love that. We're all designers in our own way. Any final words of wisdom before we wrap up this this design adventure?
I think Just remember that, good design is about more than just aesthetics.
Hmm.
It's about communication, clarity, and making a positive impact on your audience.
That's such an important point. It's not just about making things pretty.
Right.
It's about making them work. Well, folks, there you have it. Our deep dive into the world of design inspired by Robin Williams' The Non-Designer's Design Book. We hope you've enjoyed this journey and are feeling inspired to unleash your inner designer.
Yes, and remember, the best way to learn is to experiment.
Right?
Right.
Mhm.
Don't be afraid to play with these principles, try new things, and most importantly, have fun.
Until next time, happy designing.